And had some great conversations this week. We dropped a couple of videos about infill development, and I have a whole nother infill development project that I want to talk about and show you today. It's a land development play where the developer is a friend of mine, came in. I've done several of these, bought, I don't know, a 10, maybe 15, it might be a 20-acre parcel, put the roads, curb, and utilities in, streets, curb, and utilities in, then sold all the lots to a national home builder, Ryan Homes. And this subdivision sold out really quick. Ryan Homes is a national home builder. They do a ton of houses. And man, they came in here and blasted these things out quickly. So I'm going to switch the camera over here. It is really hot today, so I'm inside the car. But this is what it looks like. It's, still in the beginning stages. As you can see, they just have the first layer of asphalt on. They have the curbs in, road signs, a few houses under construction, a few houses are complete. And this was just basically wooded land like you see back there, right there. That's what it starts out as. It was a 20-acre plus or minus piece. So the investor developer is a friend of mine who has never developed land before, and came in here, put this property under contract, and went through the process to put the property under contract, got an engineer to come in, do some preliminary site planning and layouts to maximize the density of the project. And this is a long-term play. In some areas, this can take you 18 months to 2 years to get it approved to be able to start building houses, selling lots and building houses. So it is a long-term play. So you need some capital. You need the ability to hang on and weather, the storm, weather the project for the long term. I'm going to take you through the neighborhood here real slow. Got a couple of sites left, Ryan Homes, a couple of houses built. These things are probably in the low to mid fours to the mid to upper fives, kind of where these houses range. Nice entry level homes, and this was a great project. So what you do is you identify the land, you find the property, and you get a civil engineer to come in and start doing some surveying, site planning. And site planning means literally to plan what you're going to build in the neighborhood, plan the lots, the layout, how you're going to situate the houses, how the streets are going to play out. And with the topography and the contour of the land, you can see it's very hilly. In my area, Charlottesville, Virginia, we have a lot of big rocks and stone that you got to watch out for. It can be very expensive to have to deal with rocks. In a neighborhood like that, you can see kind of the rock forest back there in the background. It's cheaper to leave them and than to try to move them, and it's kind of a cool feature. So there was a lot of rocks. There's the model home right there. So this project here, like I said, they put the land under the contract. You get the engineer on board, the civil engineer and surveyor, and you start planning the site. So in other words, you start planning your utilities, your roads, your curb, your gutter, your layout with the topography of the land, layout of the land, to maximize the density of the property while keeping a balance of open space and yards for the individual houses, things like that. So it's a very creative process. And you'll find that a lot of civil engineers are very creative individuals. Developers are very creative individuals. As I told you, the developer is the one with the vision and brings the plan together. So once you get the land under contract, you start planning it, and you have to work some meetings with your planning and zoning department. It works different in every area, but you have a pre-application meeting in most areas where you sit down with your planning and zoning and you go through the process of the application and what they're going to need and all of the things to look out for. I mean, you get all of the health and safety departments on board, Department of Transportation for the major highway that runs by the property. You've got to get the fire department on board, local zoning and planning departments, building department, just to make sure you've got everything taken into account. Everybody's got their say. Everybody has said their piece. The roads have to meet VDOT standards. Once you develop the roads, you get everything done. Like I said, this is just the first layer of asphalt. Before you turn it over, you have to finish the asphalt and bring it up. That's why when you go to new subdivisions, it just gets tore up with all the construction trucks. So they let you build all the houses first before you finalize and do your final top coat of asphalt. But you got to put performance bonds up for all that stuff to make sure that the developer finishes the infrastructure, finishes out the project, and does it according to spec and standards for the city and county engineers in order to ultimately turn the streets over to the city or county, and they become public streets versus private. Sometimes communities will maintain their own roads and keep them private. So a lot of that's up to the developer. in terms of what they want to do. So you're going to have, tap fees, proffers, things like that. Proffers are basically a tax that go to pay for schools and infrastructure. So you got to take all those things into consideration before you buy a piece of land. You want to get all of your permitting, all of your entitlements. Entitlements are your permits. They entitle you to start breaking ground and build the project. The project entitlements need to be in place before you close. I never like to close a piece of land until I get it fully entitled. You just never know what could happen. Anything can pop up. You could get downzoned. Somebody could change your mind. I mean, any number of things can happen. So it's a tricky process. You want to be careful. You want to make sure that you're not deploying too much capital in order to get the project done, and then all of a sudden, something happens, you buy the land and somebody changes their mind, something happens and they decide that they're not going to approve your project, or you thought you'd get 50 lots and you only get 3 lots, and things like that. So I mean, that's a pretty extreme case, but generally a lot of times you could be in a situation where you thought you'd get 40, 50 lots and you get 30 or 40 lots. So you want to tie your contract to the ultimate uh, final amount of density, amount of lots that you get. Sorry, I had some people pulling in there, so I had to move. But anyways, this is another form of infill development that you can do. This is just a simple land play. This developer did not build any houses, and this is a great way to go, where all you're doing is developing lots and supplying the national, regional, local home builders. That's a great strategy if you want to be a land developer. You can get to a point where a neighborhood like this, that you can develop the land and build the houses. I've done a lot of these. I have a lot of friends that do a lot of these, a lot of developer friends that like to build them as well. But that's really up to you. It's up to your capital position. It's up to your financial strength and your abilities. And you can bring those pieces in as partners along the way. But I like to keep it simple. On a project like this, I mean, it makes a lot of sense to come in here and get in and get out, sell your lots, make your money, move on to the next one. Building and selling the houses is a whole nother animal. And unless you're in a red hot market, it's better to partner with a builder that has a system in place, a team in place to come in and move through these lots, get them sold fast. That's where you make your money, getting in and getting out. And the gravy's on the back end. So the first few lots that you sell kind of pay off and pay down the loan, and you make your money on the back end, and hopefully you save the best lots for last so you can get the most for them. And you leave meat on the table for everybody. So, hopefully some people can come in here, buy these houses, and gain a little appreciation as the neighborhood gets built out and the houses, increase in price. And it's a win-win for everybody all the way along. So this is another type of infill development. I will be making another video soon on commercial infill. Maybe a mixed-use project, urban infill, and then maybe a retail development infill where you take a pad and go from the ground up. Those are a lot of fun. I love the urban infill. I love taking old buildings and making them new. I really have a passion for that. Uncovering the old brick and just, those things, you can just have a lot of fun and be real creative. And there's just something about taking something old and making it new, whether it's a house or a building. I really enjoy that. I love the old architecture. I love like I said, the brick and just the urban revitalization. I really love to do those types of projects as well. So I'll be bringing you some of those videos down the road. I just wanted to come to you today. It's Friday, and just kind of bring you one more type of project, infill development project for you to think about. And I've had a lot of people ask me about these lately. I've been coaching a lot of people and consulting with a lot of people moving into this world. There's opportunity out there. The housing market is hot right now. Inventories are limited in a lot of areas, so it's a really good time to be bringing new construction online, to be bringing lots online for the builders. The builders are hungry. They're looking for inventory. So if you want to develop land, you have to find a parcel that hopefully is zoned that you can develop. You need to understand what the utilities look like, where they're coming from, what the cost to bring them to the property is going to be. You need to understand what your roads, curb and gutter, street sign requirements, access from VDOT, what they're going to require, turning lanes, things like that. Understand the city and zoning rules and regulations and permits and tap fees and proffers, all those types of things. So all that has to go into play. And typically you want to be able to make a 25, 30 to 40% margin. 25 would be thin, 40 would be great, 30 is kind of where they fall. Builders can typically pay 25 to 30% of the outsale of the house, or the final value of the house for the land. So if the houses are selling for $400,000, the builder can typically pay 120, 100, 120, 150,000 for the land, depending on how hot the market is. So you just start with that and you work everything backwards. Road, curb, gutter, utilities in most areas, if it's straightforward topography, It's going to cost you around, on most smaller subdivisions like this, it can get up to the $30,000 to $50,000 a lot range. In the bigger subdivisions, you can get it down into the 15 to 20,000 range if you've got fairly flat, easy soils and topography to work with. So that can range 10 to 15,000 to 30 to 40,000, and it can get up into the $100,000 range depending on what kind of infrastructure you put in. If you've got to get into sidewalks and street lights and, just a really nice subdivision, it could get really expensive. But somewhere between 10, 15, 30,000 a lot is what you can expect in terms of development cost. So if you know you can sell lots for $100,000, if you know they're going to cost you $30,000 to develop, that leaves you, you know, $60,000 to buy your land and make a profit, right? So you just work it backwards. And then most owners understand the developer needs to be able to make a profit, and you can base your offers on that formula. Basically a third, a third, a third. That's kind of a rule of thumb in development. Obviously there's always caveats to every rule of thumb, but that just gives you a general idea, kind of like flipping a house, right? Or building a spec house or anything like that. You start with the after repair value, the final marketable value, and you work it backwards. And if you say, well, if I can sell this lot for 100,000, if it costs me 35 to develop it, that leaves me, $65,000 to buy the land and make a profit. So whatever you're happy with in there, for you it might be 10%. For me, it's 30%. You just never know. But it all depends on your position, your financial position, your capital position, and things like that. So that is Land Development 101. Obviously, there's a whole lot more to it than that. It gets very detailed. It is risky. Development is a risky business. It's the riskiest type of real estate strategy. So, but it's what I've done my whole career. For 23 years, I've been a developer. So for me, it's just what I do. I don't look at it as risk. I understand it. I expect things to come up. I hedge the downside, and I make sure that I account for mistakes and issues and stuff that pops up, weather, time frames, And when you're dealing with development, usually it takes you longer than you think. You make less than you think, and it costs you more than you think. But at the end of the day, you're still making a profit. You have a lot of fun. You learn a ton, and you move on to the next deal. You learn your lessons, carry them forward. Hopefully you learn from the past, carry that forward so that you do better on the next deal, and you grow and develop from there. And it's all about learning, developing, getting better every day. On that note, I'm going to bring you a video tomorrow that can and will change your life if you receive it. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to film a video tomorrow that's all about mindset. It's all about dreams. It's all about goals. It's all about achieving the things that you want to achieve, achieving what you set out for in life, reaching your full potential. So I'm going to make a video about that tomorrow. It is going to be a life-changing video. I'm telling you, if you listen to it and if you understand it and if you apply what I'm talking about in that video tomorrow, you can change your life. You will change your life and take your game to the next level. So happy Friday. Have a great weekend. And whatever day you're watching this video on, for me, it's a Friday. It is July and it's hot. So we will talk to you soon.